Income Tax 2020, Schedule C, Legal and Professional Expenses. Come in, relax with Income Tax 2020. Schedule C, Legal and Professional Expenses. With regards to the income tax equation, we're basically looking at the top line item when we're thinking about the Schedule C. The Schedule C, though, being on a separate schedule, having income and expenses, in essence, the bottom line or net income, in essence, rolling over from the Schedule C to the top line of basically our income tax equation, where we then will be applying out the above the line and below the line deductions to get down to the taxable income. We're going to be thinking about the expenses that would be recorded on the Schedule C, those then related to the legal and professional expenses. Now, from a logistical standpoint, in terms of the deduction at the point in time of preparing the tax return, hopefully these are going to be fairly straightforward expenses that will be recorded on the income statement that has been provided to us by the client, or that we produce ourselves through possibly some kind of software like QuickBooks or something like that, and the data input should be fairly straightforward for the most part with it. Remember that we have our Schedule C that would flow into the first page of the 1040, affecting multiple areas, possibly here on line 8, which flowed through from the Schedule C to the Schedule 1, and then to the first page of the 1040, we have the Social Security, half of the Social Security tax being deductible above the line here, adjusted gross income then being calculated, and we could have the qualified business income deduction as well to get down to the taxable income. So many places affected by the Schedule C. Here's an example of what the Schedule C looks like. We have the income half, then the expenses, which are in essence deductions. We're concentrating here on the deductions of the legal and professional expenses. Those are going to go down here on line 17. Again, hopefully when we get the tax return, or when we get the information to prepare the tax return, including, say, an income statement, the proper amounts have been included in the legal and professional. It should be fairly straightforward, but we'll have a couple things that we just want to note with regards to them. Now, the information we're going to be taking a look at, although we have the 2020 Schedule C out at this point, the tax guide for small businesses still has the new 2019 out. So we're basing our information first on 2019 information that we made adjustments to when we see applicable, but note it's baseline coming from the 2019 information. 2020 should be out shortly. If you have any questions on any nuanced area, this might be a starting point that you can then look for. We might provide a link to it, but you can find it on the IRS website at irs.gov, irs.gov. So legal and professional. Legal and professional fees, such as fees charged by accountants that are ordinary and necessary expenses directly related to operating your business, are deducted on Schedule C or CEZ. However, you usually cannot deduct legal fees you pay to acquire business assets, add them to the basis of the property. So in other words, normal legal expenses, obviously, and we might say legal and professional, such as the accountant. So the accountant putting together the bookkeeping and whatnot like that would basically be deductible. If you're taking a look at the tax preparation, you might need to apply that out, or see that the tax preparer possibly applies them out, a portion to a business and the portion to the personal, because the business side of the tax preparation might be deductible on the Schedule C. The personal side may not be deductible. So you might be able to break that out as well. When you talk about the legal fees, then again, if you have the legal fees that are related to the business activities, then you would think it would be ordinary and necessary and therefore deductible. However, if you have legal fees that are related to acquiring property, such as equipment or possibly real estate or something like that, then that expense may be then part of the purchase of the property, or might be considered part of the purchase price of the property. Rather than expensing it at that point, then you might include it as in with the cost of the property purchased. And if it's going to be depreciable property, then you record it as an asset, and then you'd have to depreciate it over the useful life of the property using the depreciation rules, adding the legal fees to basically the cost of the property, just as you would, or adding it to kind of like the purchase price of the property. If the fees include payments for work of personal nature, such as making a will, you can take a business deduction only for the part of the fee related to your business. So again, if it's personally related, the part that's going to be related to the personal usage because it's personal, then typically isn't something that's going to be deductible. And that kind of follows the general rule, because generally, if you're thinking about income taxes, you would be able to deduct those things that were ordinary and necessary in order to generate basically the income. So if you're talking about legal fees that were for something other than the business component, then or if they were for personal component, then for the most part wouldn't typically be deductible unless there's some other area where they might be included as a deduction. So tax preparation fee, you can deduct on Schedule C or CEZ the cost of preparing that part of your tax return relating to your business as a sole proprietor or statutory employee. So notice if you have a Schedule C type of business, you're doing tax preparation on it, then the tax preparation is partially personal, partially business, and the business probably has a substantial portion of the fee related to it. The part of the fee related to the Schedule C business then may be deductible on the Schedule C, which would be good. So you'd want to take advantage of that, put the deduction for the tax preparation there, at least for the portion that would be applicable to the business. The amount that's applicable to the personal side may not then be deductible.